We are at number 10 of our top 100 video games of all time. We are getting right down into the thick of it. And number 10
What is number 10, Vic?
an impossibility. This was not supposed to work. It was not supposed to be this fantastic, but it was. Metroid Prime for the GameCube from Retro Studios came out in 2002. What'd you think of this one?
Of course, it is kind of a miracle. I was one of those people who was terribly skeptical. I did not think that this would work as a first-person shooter. I thought that this could only work
From
as
Nintendo?
From Nintendo, a first-person shooter. Yeah, Nintendo hadn't really made a first-person shooter at this point. And what they did here is they did something really smart. They hired Retro Studios based in Austin, Texas. Miyamoto went down. He liked what he saw in the studio, and man, were these guys ever the right people for the job.
And Nintendo was unrelenting in their expectations. They wanted this thing to stand with the incredible Super Metroid, and they'd also done some fantastic Game Boy Advance 2D scrolling Metroid games. As great as those games were, they didn't prepare us for the next level immersion and escapism of Metroid Prime, which I argue still today is one of the best first-person experiences I've ever had in video games.
Now, the gameplay here is superb.
Yeah.
And the gameplay in every Metroid game has been superb. But what really sets this apart and makes it stand tall is the atmosphere that this team at Retro was able to capture in this game. It's the incredible planet of Talon 4 that Samus Aran has to explore here. As she journeys around, you're doing the same thing you're doing in the 2D side-scrolling land. You are backtracking a lot in this game, but every time you go back to these previous environments, you are seeing something you did not see before. You're encountering enemies you hadn't encountered before. Now, one of the things that's magical about this, and there's so much here that's magical, is the transformation into the morph ball. I mean, it is absolutely seamless. The way that the camera switches from first-person perspective to third-person perspective.
Another impossible thing.
And the way that the morph ball controls is absolutely a joy. The way that this thing rolls around on the floor. I mean, every aspect of this game is enjoyable. You will be frustrated. You will go on an adventure unlike any other adventure you've ever been on before, and it all feels so very, very, very Metroid.
Yeah, it does. And it also feels valuable. All of the 3 Metroid Prime games that Retro built are terrific, but it is just incredible how fantastic and needle-moving and life-changing the first Metroid Prime is.
You know what? Let's take a look back at the Metroid Prime trilogy.
Well, you know, the original Metroid was a 2D platform-style game, and everyone started to freak out when they heard that it was in first-person shooter. Oh my God! Don't ruin my Metroid!
Don't change anything.
And basically, it is first-person for the most part, but at any point, you can actually kind of roll up into a ball. The graphics are actually really good.
They're awesome.
Graphics are really good, but for me, you know, there was too much kind of searching around.
That's what makes it a special game.
Backtracking, and I had to scan every little thing.
There's a great story in there as well. I was really surprised by how much I found myself enjoying this experience, particularly because I'd just come off playing both Halo 2 and Half-Life 2, which were groundbreaking, awesome first-person shooter experiences.
These are amazing graphics.
Beautiful.
The weapons effects and the way they distort the screen and mess up with the thing.
And the fogging on the
really
visors.
Excellent. The visor effect itself, too, is very 3D, where you get a sense it's not just the shield over your head.
We're talking about Metroid Prime 3 Corruption for the Wii, of course, developed by Retro Studios in Austin. I think, for my money, best-looking Wii game we've seen so far.
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more.
This is absolute state-of-the-art visuals for the system, and you know, it's a breath of fresh air because we've been saying every review about a Wii game is that it looks okay for a Wii game, you know, or we're qualifying it on the Wii, and the Wii is capable of some amazing-looking visuals. Here is Exhibit A.
Absolutely. The color palette is rich. The frame rate is silky smooth.
Perfect.
The texturing is there.
Yep.
And you're just like, okay.
How about Samus's eyes on the visor when you start scanning everything and you're looking around with the cursor and she's following it? I mean, it's some pretty cool looking stuff. I see how this is going to be as we wind up this top 100. These final 10 are going to be so hard for me not to drop my microphone, race home, and start playing them. I want to play Metroid Prime so bad.
Walking Death Pinch.
But congratulations, Metroid Prime. You are number 10 of the top 100 of all time.